Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of The Dark Magician Journey. Being episode 7, you know what that means. There is only one episode left until the finale, the finish of The Dark Magician Journey. What was going to originally be a 10-episode series, I have decided to cut down to 8, and if you stick around until the end of the video, you will see why. So, let's get into it for this week and show you guys what I've got. Today is a very special day for myself, as it is Tuesday, July 20th, which is my birthday! So, 26 years old today, and it has definitely been a good birthday so far. I'm going out later to eat with some friends of mine, and I can't wait for that. I definitely have some new ideas going into my deck this week. I have 4 cards that I'm going to try putting in, and I think that we are going to take the dare, and I think that we are going to actually go down to playing 1 copy of Dark Magical Circle this locals. My friend Loza actually just day 2'd the last YCS playing only 1 circle, so if he can day 2 a YCS playing 1, I definitely think we can win locals playing 1. So let's get these new cards into the deck, try them out, and see how they do. But first, it is currently 12:30, which means today's mail has already ran, and I'm expecting a very special package coming in today. Hopefully we got it. I would definitely like to give a huge shout out to TDT Gaming for sending me this magnificent Dark Magician Girl deck box. Everything about this deck box is incredible. The quality of the artwork on it, the etching, the way it feels, the color, the inside. And definitely check these guys out. I think they're going to have a lot more upcoming products in the future, and I will definitely be a returning customer. I do enjoy things like this, and it's always such a treasure whenever I'm able to get something like this that fits the overall theme of my deck. So shout outs to them. I'll leave a link to their store down below so you guys can see for yourself. I do think that for this week we are going to go back to basics and include 3 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. It is worth mentioning that we are going to once again be playing the hand traps such as Ash Blossom, Ghost Bell, as well as Phantasme, which I've really fallen in love with this deck. A couple cards that you will also recognize from this week are cards such as that of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage and Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. So far, this has still been my favorite build that I have played. I also have to give a big shout out to my good friend Justin Perkins for hooking me up with this awesome Meta Mats Yu-Gi-Moto mat, as well as a playset of the original Secret Rare Dark Magicians from the 2002 Collector's Tin, as well as these nice Yami Yugi Amanda Lapalm dice. Thank you, man. I really love these so much. I hope they bring me a lot of good luck in the future.
Not really.
Alright, so this is actually going to be a video that will contain not 1, but 2 tournament reports. Our first tournament report comes from Sunday, July 18th. This is the Paradise Games locals that I attended. Round 1, we are lucky enough to receive a bye, which means a free 2-0 victory. So, we take it. Going into round 2, we play against our friend Tobias, who is playing Salomon Great. This matchup for me is honestly scarier than any of the bigger decks are. Like, I didn't play through Eternal format. I was taking a break in the game at that time. I missed this deck in its prime. I don't know what to hand trap or where to hand trap them or what to let go through or what to stop. So I kind of just have to use my best judgment. I'm doing better, and I'm researching that deck more now. I'm actually playing with it some so I can get a better understanding of how the deck works in the hands and how they play through their combo trees and interactions. So we did manage to take that one as a 2-1 victory, which puts us moving up into round 3, where we play against our friend Logan Hawks. Logan absolutely loves Sky Striker. This man, Reyes Bay, He has been on the Sky Striker grind since well before Engage came off the ban list. Whenever I got back into the game a couple of years ago, during the very end of Eternal format, Logan was playing Striker then, and even after the loss of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, he still believed in the deck and he still continued to play it. So I'm happy that he managed to get an Engage back so he can play a Sky Striker deck. We did manage to beat Logan 2-0 this time. He's definitely coming for me next time, though. This matchup, Dragoon just puts in a lot of work in Striker. They do have outs for getting over this card, but just the sheer power of being able to pop things, not be targeted or destroyed, just puts in a lot of work in this matchup. That brings us up into round 4, where we play against William Bateman, who is another great friend of mine. He is playing pure Unchained, more like a control build, no live twins. Going into this round, I was extremely nervous because my track record for playing against Bateman is not very good. I have never beaten his Unchained deck a single time since he's been playing it. Same matchup, Unchained versus Dark Magician. You know, he comes like every 3 weeks, so the past like 4 times I played against him, he has just beaten me. This time, though, we managed to take that at a 2-0 victory, and this was such a confidence boost for me. I've researched Unchained inside and out. You know, what do I stop? What do I let go through? Do I go for Dragoon in this matchup? Do I go for the Dark Magicians to try to gain advantage off of trap cards? Do I attack over things? Do I just try and circle away as floaters? And it seems like all of that research definitely helped. Going into round 5, which would be the finals, we were going to play against Austin Wood, who you've seen featured in multiple other videos, who was playing Invoked Dogmatica. We decided to actually just split in the final round. We still need to get that game in sometime soon to see who actually would have won the tournament. But he was a very good friend of mine, so we just decided to split. So we put this as first/second place. For me and him both. So shoutouts to you, bro. Can't wait to finally get to play that match against you. So now we will move into the Easy Card Gaming Tournament from this past weekend, July the 24th. Evan. Sorry, I wasn't recording. Now I am. I always enjoy going to Greensboro with my friends. I actually managed to talk my cousin Evan into going with us this past weekend. He predominantly plays the Cyber Dragon deck. He's been out of the game since November. Evan ended up going 2-2 at Easy Card Gaming, and I was so proud of Evan for at least winning 2 matches for being out of the game for such a long time. My friend Blaine did very well with the Ogdoadic Snake deck, just barely missing top 4 though, unfortunately for him, but he will definitely get there next time. Going into the tournament, round 1 we play against Magical Musketeer, which is another deck that I am just not very familiar with. I did know going in that this was a control type deck, so I had to try to play conservatively and whittle him down. Game 1, we managed to take the game with Dragoon, Dark Magical Circle banishing some of his monsters away. Game 2, this deck opening up a Magical Musket with Ties of the Brethren is just absolutely crazy. He just overwhelmed me. So much power in that deck. That brought us into Game 3. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. We have a very good Game 3. Lots of back and forth action. I managed to take it home against him, though. So shoutouts to you, man. Keep doing you. You're definitely a great musket player. Round 2, we have to play against the dreaded matchup, the Salad matchup. Every week, round 2. Always Salad. This time I played against the best Salomon Great player I know. His name is Charlie. He is known for being the Salomon Great guy around this area. Never beaten Charlie so far. We always have great games. Shoutouts to you, man. Always a pleasure playing against you. I managed to take it against Charlie for the very first time as a 2-1 victory over Salomon Great. Going into round 3, we play against our friend Tobias yet again, of whom we played against at the last Paradise tournament, who was playing Salad at that time. This time he is playing Invoked Shaddoll, and this was a good matchup. Always enjoy playing against this guy. I did manage to take the win home against him 2-1. Ghost Bell in this matchup was just so incredibly strong. Ghost Bell has been my new favorite hand trap alongside of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Definitely keeping these cards in my deck for the foreseeable future. Going into round 4, the last round of Swiss, I play against Arturo, whose deck profile was uploaded on my channel earlier this week. Go check that out. He was playing Pure Tri-Brigade. This guy is definitely no one to joke about. He managed to win the trophy tournament at Easy Card Gaming first place, and this matchup had me sweating the entire way through. We have a lot of back and forth action. I get to use Ghost Spell on his Revolt, whittle him down, and I eventually managed to take it as a 2-0 victory going into top 4 cut. So going into top 4, we have to play against Arturo yet again. So back-to-back Tri-Brigade against Arturo, who is very, very good with the deck. This time, we did have a lot of back-and-forth action. I don't feel like I played quite as well. This was kind of the end of the day. I was starting to get hungry. I was very tired by the end of this day, and I just don't think I played quite as smart. I played into Gamma, I played into Tactics, and he managed to get his revenge the very next round against me, beating me 2-0. So shoutouts to you, man. Can't wait to get my revenge against you next time in top 4. I'll see you next time. So we managed to take first/second place at Paradise Games in Mount Airy, and 4th place at Easy Card Gaming, which is the second time I've gotten 4th there. They normally have very large-scale tournaments. It's an excellent store. I really enjoy going to play there and see all of my friends. So we are checking our goals off of our Dark Magician journey very quickly. We have, I consider the Paradise Tournament to be a win, even though we technically split, because we kind of had dual bragging rights in that situation for splitting, which was one of my goals with Dark Magician, as well as getting top 4 in a large-scale tournament. That's the second time, as I mentioned earlier, that I've gotten top 4 at Easy Card Gaming, and yeah, there's not a lot of other goals going into Dark Magician, so I think the next episode, which will be episode 8, is going to be the finale. We are not moving away from Dark Magician. That is just going to wrap up the introduction to Dark Magician for this channel. I'm very much excited for when regional season comes back and we get IRL events and we get to take Dark Magician to our very first regional to hopefully get our very first invite with the deck. I've gotten my invite several times in the past, as well as one third place finish in 2015 playing Herald of Perfection. And then after that, I hope to eventually make it back to that top 8 placing with Dark Magician, as well as at least day 2 a YCS event with Dark Magician. So I would like to thank everyone for being here with me throughout this journey. Everyone that is following me, I hope that you're learning new tips and tricks every week. And I'm trying to set my own standard for how I feel like this deck should be played. Don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Lots of folks believe in 3 Eternal Soul, 3 Dark Magical Circle, that you should never break from those ratios. I have broken from those ratios week after week after week and found success in changing those ratios around. I don't think that there is a set standard for many cards in that deck outside of cards like Magician's Souls, Magician's Rod, and Soul Servant. So we're going to see where we end up going with this deck. I am very excited for the future, and I hope that everyone enjoyed this portion of the deck video. So next we are going to get into the deck profile. I actually played pretty much the same build at both of these events. I changed, I believe, 4 cards for Easy Card Gaming. So I'm going to show you guys that deck now, and I hope that everyone enjoys it. Okay, everyone, so we find ourselves here yet again with another Dark Magician profile as part of the Dark Magician journey. So for this deck profile, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth like I normally try to do in my deck profiles for this series. This deck profile is going to be uploaded again later in the week, but it is not going to be quite as in-depth, as it'll be a separate video, and I will say in that video that if they would like to see the more in-depth explanations of the deck, that they would need to check out this video. So we're going to start off first with the cards that I categorize as engine requirements. These are cards that you normally wouldn't play, but either your deck is built around them or something in your deck is so powerful that it warrants to play these cards. Dark Magician, naturally, is the highlight of the entire deck. He's your main guy. Red Eyes Black Dragon obviously assists in making Dragoon off of Red Eyes Fusion, and I still do choose to play Dark Magician Girl. She gets memed on a lot for being a brick. While I do believe she is a brick, there are some neat things that you can do that I've recently just become aware of with this deck. I still like to be able to get the additional float effect of the Dark Magicians and the additional draw off of Soul Servant. So we will get back into that in a little bit. For cards that are starters, these are cards that initiate your plays. They're cards that you normally want to see. We have 3 Magician's Rod, 3 Magician's Souls, 1 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, as well as we are also playing 1 copy of Spellbook of Secrets and Spellbook of Knowledge. So I'm not going to go super in depth with the more Dark Magician related cards. I do have 2 other starters we're going to talk about, but Rod, if you're not sure what, if you're not familiar with Rod, Rod searches for Dark Magician spells and traps, as well as recycles himself. And Magician's Souls is a starter as well as an extender. These are definitely always played in 3s in this deck. The Spellbook package is still almost like a placeholder in this deck. I don't feel as if this deck has enough starter cards to be able to consistently be able to play every game. I've always went by the concept of if you're able to play every game, you're able to essentially win every game, but the games you can't play are unwinnable, and it doesn't matter if you're playing against Tri-Brigade or if you're playing against Pure Ojamas. If you can't play the game, you're not going to be able to win. So starter cards are very important for this. We already have 1 important normal summon in the form of Rod, so that's why I'm only choosing to play the 3 of these, as well as unpopular opinion, Mobilize Engage, and Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. If you haven't watched any of my other episodes, you wouldn't know, but this is a 1-card Verde into Dragoon, and I'm actually thinking about expanding on this package. I think I'm going to start testing out Eagle Boosters. Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, and Psyframe Gamma are on the rise, so you really want to be able to make sure your Verde is going to go through. As well as I think I'm going to change a couple other cards in the side deck as well. So one of the combos that I actually managed to pull off was on my opponent's turn. We're going to move these out of the way here. Apologize for being disorganized. On my opponent's turn, I used Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, and I already had knowledge, or maybe it was secrets. It was one or the other in my hand. And off of Phantasme, I picked up Mobilize Engage and Dark Magician Girl. So I thought initially, I said I have these dead cards in my hand. What do I do? So I draw for turn. It's a random card. I think a moment, and I ended up tribute summoning Dark Magician Girl over Phantasme, using Spellbook of Knowledge to draw 2 cards, then activating Mobilize Engage for Hornet Drones to make Dragoon. So I always link the Johnny Lee Experience video in all of my videos because I think it is such an important video for anybody that's playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been playing your whole life, to watch. And in that video, he says that one of the main things Yu-Gi-Oh! Players need to watch out for are the interactions that you wouldn't normally do. Something else I do with Dark Magician Girl and Apprentice Illusion Magician is, in the case of getting Rivalry of the Warlorded on my Verde, you can tribute set Dark Magician Girl over Verde Anaconda to be able to essentially kind of get yourself out of the lock on Rivalry. We're going into our more extender cards. We have 2 Apprentice Illusion Magician. Took this card out of my deck for a very long time. I've actually really enjoyed going back to this card. 3 Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha, 3 Soul Servant, 2 Dark Magical Circle, and 1 Secrets of Dark Magic. So going into explanation here, Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha on top of Magician Souls can actually out you 5 cards. If you're not familiar with this combo, like I said, you need Vishuddha as well as Souls. So what you do in this combo is you use your Magician Souls, you summon out a copy of Dark Magician, you summon Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha. You can do this in either order, it doesn't matter. You XYZ. Yes, I did say XYZ. Very strange for Dark Magician. For Draco Sack, you're going to detach Vishuddha off of your Draco Sack, summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens, So since you have a non-effect monster in the field, you can then banish your Tenya Spirit Vashuda, bounce a card. You can use Draco Sack's effect, tribute off Mecha Phantom Beast, destroy a card. Then with your last Mecha Phantom Beast token, you are going to tribute into Link Spider, Link Summon. Then you are going to Link Summon yet again for Verde Anaconda, pay 2,000, summon Dragoon, pop 2 more cards, and attack over a card with Dragoon. So, I can't really comment on how well this has worked out for me, as in the recent weeks, I've played in 2 tournaments with this deck, actually 3 tournaments with Vashuda in my deck, and I have only ever drawn Vashuda once, and the first time I drew him, it was just used to make Verde. So I can't actually comment on how well that combo has worked out for me thus far, but it's there. But I'm going to keep trying this. I do feel like, in theory, that is a very strong combo to be able to have in your deck. 2 Dark Magical Circle. For the Paradise Games tournament that I got first at, I actually went down to 1. I never missed having the second. But for the Easy Card Gaming tournament, I went back to 2 because I was just very scared of 1 getting Cosmic Cyclone, and then I don't have one of my best removal cards anymore. So in a format where Cosmic is played, I think you probably need 2. But at the same time, I think that you could go down to 1. I don't think I would ever play 3 myself ever again. 3 Soul Servant. This is like an extender in the same way that Circle. There's no cards that you can get off of Circle that's going to initiate plays, because you can't get Souls and you can't get Rod. Same thing with Soul Servant. This card's only good in tangent with Circle, or in tangent with Magician Souls, or another way to dump Dark Magician. So this card gets categorized as an extender instead of a starter. And then Secrets of Dark Magic. I think this is my favorite card in the deck. I went so long without using this card in my deck, and just being able to make this card, excuse me, being able to make Dragoon with this card is just incredible, especially doing it in the battle phase. Fusing like Dark Magician and Phantasma into Dragoon. This card, I think, is a staple, at least for me. I know it's kind of a brick in some cases, but we'll go into, let's see, what do we have left here? We have Magicalized Fusion, which is, again, an extender card, as well as Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, I think, is in the middle because it kind of acts like a pseudo Call by the Grave with Millenniumize Restrict. Then we have Red Eyes Fusion, which is technically an engine requirement. And we have the 1 Upstart Goblin, which I do believe in a deck where you have a significant number of high-powered cards you want to see. I think you should play this. Especially in this deck, having this with Soul Servant or Circle just makes this card so much better. Eternal Soul, your recursion, your way to interrupt using your Dark Magician interactions on their turn, as well as be able to perfectly be able to recycle Rod. These are going into our defensive cards. We have 3 of my favorite hand trap. Let's see somewhere. It's 3 Phantasme. I think I shuffled 1 back into this pile when I showed that other combo. 3 Phantasme. This card fixes your hands. It puts up a body. It gives you effect negation through targeting. It's a dragon to make a Dragoon. Everything about this card just says it should be in this deck in a format where everything links except for Virtual World. I really love Phantasme. It has brought me so many wins. It's just helped me out so much. I enjoy this card so much. Call by the Grave is defensive as well. I think in a format ruled by hand traps, I think you should always play this card. I play 2 Ash. I just always hate seeing multiples of this card, so I normally only ever play this card at 2. It's just the most generic. And my second favorite hand trap is Ghost Bell. This card blows out Revolt. It helps in so many rogue matchups. It's good against Invoked. But the main reason why I like this card in here is it kind of counters a lot of the cards people are currently playing like Shark Cannon, DD Crow, and Ice Dragon's Prison. So it kind of just helps you be able to play your own deck the way that it's supposed to be played. So I think I will continue playing 3 of this card in my deck. This card for me has actually brought me more success than Ash Blossom has. So that's the main deck. It is 40 cards. We'll move into the extra deck now. We have 1 copy of Quintet Magician. This comes up whenever you try to do the 2-card Quintet Magician combo, which you'll see in some of my other videos. I'm actually considering trying out Zeus in this slot, as it requires the exact same everything to be able to just make Zeus instead. and you get a 2-material Zeus out of it, or a 2-use Zeus out of it, if you will, 4 materials. So this is what I played. It didn't come up at this tournament at all this time. Much like Draco Sack, I never ended up using Draco Sack, but it was always an option. Kaina and Kagari. Don't forget that you gain 100 off of Kaina in the Sky Striker combo for Verde. That is entirely significant. Don't forget that. 1 copy of the Dark Magicians, 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and 1 Millenniumized Fusion. These cards are just so great. Normally you're going to make Dragoon instead of the Dark Magicians, but this card can just gain you back so much advantage. If something ever happens to this card, I hope that they ban Red Eyes Fusion rather than hitting Dragoon. But if something ever happens to this card, I will build my deck more so based to summon this card going forward. And then Millenniumize Restrict for the instant fusion. Still play 2 Verde. This definitely comes up. I've enjoyed having the second. 1 Mduck, the World Chalice Dragon, 1 Link Spider, and 1 Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden. That rounds off our extra deck. Going into our side deck, we have 3 copies of Drone Lockbird. This card is one of the better hand traps in the format. It's very good against a multitude of decks. It's also a spellcaster, so you can make the Dark Magicians with it off of Secrets of Dark Magic as well as Magicalized Fusion. 1-ofs, we have 1 Pankratops, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Red Reboot. Just the most generic 1-ofs that you can play in your side deck. Shutdown trap decks and generic going second card, who is also level 7. So these 3 are very strong. Do like playing those. Skullmeister is probably the most underwhelming card in my side deck that I've played because I haven't managed to play against any prank kids in a while. So this guy never really got put in. We have 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being. This guy goes in extremely often. This card is wonderful. I love this card. It's been a great sideboard card. And then rounding it off, we have 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Still a major believer in this card. It's come up for me a few times. Normally you put this in going second against Tri-Brigade as they put in Imperial Order and Anti-Spell Fragrance against you. As well, if you see this with just Revolt, you can just activate this and then they're immediately forced to go ahead and use Revolt, which gets one of their interruptions out of the way. So definitely like this card a lot. Going to keep testing it going forward. Cosmic Cyclone is technically better against decks like Virtual World, but I do think that Mystical Space Typhoon, not having to pay 1,000 to be able to activate, does come up often. So that is the deck as I played it at the first place finish at Paradise Games, as well as the 4th place finish at Easy Card Gaming. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I do enjoy making these videos, and you guys supporting me makes me want to be able to make even more of these. And keep playing Dark Magician, and hopefully keep finding some success with this deck. I do feel as if this deck, I have really changed the standard as far as the ratios that you play in this deck. Whenever I first started looking into this deck, it seemed like every deck was just exactly the same. It was so cookie cutter, everyone played it the exact same way. Don't go away from 3 Circle, don't go away from 3 Eternal Soul, and I have basically broken every rule of the Dark Magician deck, and I have found more success after I broke those rules than I ever did when I just was playing it the same way everyone else was. So be inventive, try out new things. Yes, you're going to fail, you're going to have times when you think to yourself, what was I thinking? Why did I try out Card of Demise and Dark Magician? I've been there, I've done that as well. But at the end of it, it's all going to be worth it whenever you finally reach that first place finish. So I hope everyone enjoyed this deck profile, and this is not the end of Dark Magician. We are just getting started. So stay tuned, check back, and thanks for being here with me on the Dark Magician journey.
So, as all of you can see, we had a lot of success in the past couple weeks with this build of Dark Magician. I would like to point out that there were a couple things that I did end up changing in the deck. If I remember correctly, I didn't end up playing Secret Village at the Easy Tournament. I did play Secret Village at the Paradise Tournament, and I didn't really like it that much. It was dead going second. It was entirely just 2 dead after turn 1. So I filled that slot back up with cards like playing the 3rd copy of Vishuda and a couple other things that I changed. So if I were to play Secret Village again, I think that it would definitely always be a side deck card. Just thinking about things in general, and it's just crazy to believe how far that I have really come with this deck since episode 1. I remember my very first builds were just so cookie cutter like everyone else's, and I decided to branch off and do my own thing, and that was where I found the most success. So I encourage everyone to do the same thing. It doesn't just have to be with Dark Magician. It can be with any deck that you want. There is no set standard. Test out different things, see what you can find, and most importantly, keep track of your results. Nobody says that you're bad for trying something new. Just try it out, see if you like it, see if it makes your deck more or less consistent or more or less powerful. That's basically the attitude that I had going into this deck, is I wanted to try out a lot of different things, even if some of those things were viewed as being very unconventional, to just be able to see if I could get success and sort of change the quote-unquote standard of the ratios for this deck. We are in episode 7, which means next week's episode will wrap up the Dark Magician Journey series. That does not mean that we are stepping away from Dark Magician. The Dark Magician Journey was just going to be an introduction to my channel. This channel will very much so still be focused around the Dark Magician deck, as well as a couple other decks I'd like to eventually start playing. So, starting to get a little emotional thinking about just how far we've come since episode 1. I'll link episode 1 in the description, so definitely if you want to marathon them, it would make me so happy if you wanted to marathon them and just watch all of them. You can see the growth not only in the game, but in the videos and the style of the videos as I started to learn more. I did some amateur filmmaking in high school, and the more that I did, the more that started coming back through to me, the way to film with the angles, the lighting, the sound quality, and I hope from here on out things just get better. We have nowhere to go but up, so I hope everyone will stick around and continue following me and my Dark Magician journey, and I hope that everyone else will pick up a deck and go on their own journey as well. So I will see you guys on next week's episode, the Dark Magician Journey, episode number 8, the finale.
So I need